Hello, my name is Tamara Atkins, and this is for my FYE Snapshot presentation. My education story starts when I was a year old, when my mother died, and when my aunt adopted me. She took me in as her own, and she treated me the same, if not better, than her own children. And everything that I have learned about being a student or even being a person came from her. My greatest education influence is my aunt. She opened my eyes to amazing things like art and technology and biochemistry, and it's just amazing. She told me to always ask questions, and that made me want to know more, because the more I asked, the more I had more questions. Sadly, my aunt didn't finish college because she had to drop out and raise 4 children. But with the education that she got, she became a pharmaceutical technician. My mother and aunt inspires me to be, if not a better person. Yeah, they inspire me to be they just inspire me to be a great person, to reach goals that they couldn't, and to do things no one else has done in my family. I am a first generation. No, I'm not a first generation student. I am the first person in my family to go to college at my age. But no matter what, my aunt always told me that she was proud of me, and that really makes me feel good. I learned from my aunt that being a young woman is automatically a lot to carry, and being a young black woman is twice as much work. So I just had to do twice as much work when the average person didn't have to. Don't matter how smart I was, don't matter how much hard work I initially put into it, I have to do twice as much because I just have to. And she always told me that I had to put my needs first, because what I need is more important to me, and putting myself first and being a young woman. I just can't. It's hard to explain, I have to make sure I'm okay before I let anybody else okay. My education so far has been a really bumpy ride, because when I was younger I found out that I have OCD and dyslexia, so it was very hard for me to it wasn't hard for me, it was hard for the teachers to understand me. And then they always told me that I wasn't smart enough or I wasn't good enough, and then I started to believe it. My middle school and my high school are, I would want to say like public private schools, but you have to go to the middle school to get into the high school, and then it's a lottery system. But I do owe everything to my middle school and my high school, because mainly my high school, because that was my greatest challenge so far. No matter what, every teacher I had never wanted me to fail, and that meant a lot to me when a lot of people already want me to fail, because I'm a young woman, a young black woman too. My greatest challenge so far is not falling back into that fixed mindset that I had when I was younger. Keep on telling myself that I'm not good enough, or if I wasn't born with a certain quality or trait, that means I can never pick it up. My most successful education experience is getting an award when I graduated high school. I got the award of the most the most improved student, and that really meant a lot to me, because everybody seen how hard I worked, and everybody noticed how much effort I was putting in, no matter how down I was. And here are some problem solving tips for you. Never study in your room, because it's hard because it's hard to separate relaxation from work. Being open and honest with your professor and or your academic advisor will truly set you up for greatness. And then there's nothing wrong with planning ahead. You can always email your teacher Or yeah, you can always email your teacher or your professor asking them for any upcoming work that they need to prepare for, and I'm sure they will say yes. And that's my FYE snapshot presentation.